Hi, this is Phil from Draw the Trigger, and I'm doing a deck profile of my Bermuda Triangle deck. This is mostly done now, based on the Extra Booster 2 Banquet of Divas. There's a couple of cards in there which probably came from the Booster Set 2, but they're all duplicated in the new set as well. So you can put this deck together literally by buying probably a couple of booster boxes of Extra Booster 2. It's not perfect, I'm still kind of playing around, seeing how it goes, but it did win me a tournament last week, a little shop tournament, so I was quite happy with that. So let's start off. To begin with, I've got Bermuda Triangle Cadet Weddle as my starter. She's pretty nice. She's got the useful ability of just putting her into the soul and you get a free bounce back. Obviously in a Bermuda Triangle deck, a lot of cards benefit from being bounced back into the hand. Not to mention the fact it lets you rearrange your field conveniently. So she's pretty much the perfect starter, unless you're going to be doing the Riviere line, which in this deck I'm not. Mainly because I've only got one Riviere grade 3 right now. So that's that. Next up we can move on to the triggers. I run 4 Cooking Caspi, Draw Trigger. The only reason I choose her over the Drive Quartet one is I prefer the artwork. She's a bit cuter. Simple as that. And those are very useful. In a Bermuda Triangle deck, hand advantage is key. You want as many cards in your hand at any given time as you can. So you can't go wrong with draw triggers. At least that's what I found. I run 2 Drive Quartet Chuplu critical triggers, working alongside 4 Comical Rainy triggers. Again, you might prefer yourself to use the Drive Quartet ones because of the way they sort of work with each other to get that 7,000 boosting ability. But to be honest, I'd rather keep them in my hand as shields anyway. I don't see myself ever playing these on the field unless it's a draw trigger. So, yeah, that's 6 crits. Next, I also run 2 stands. These are the Sleeping Beauty Moose cards. These are quite cool. Again, just plain old stand triggers, but often they'll give you that one more opportunity for a bounce back from someone like Flores or Perla. One of those, you might get that one attack you need to do a bounce back. And early on, you want to do as many bounce backs as you can. Obviously, last there's 4 heal triggers. You've got to run those, I think. Be interested if anyone didn't run 4, but I think most people do. So that's those. Right, moving on to grade 1s. I run 4 Prism on the Water Matoa. She's basically Black Cat for Oracle Think Tank, in that when she's placed on the rearguard or vanguard, each player may draw up to 1 card. So it's optional, but at least if you're running this card, you want to draw that card. Your opponent probably will as well, but it's going to help you, probably, more than it helps them. Unless you're against another Bermuda Triangle deck. That could be interesting. So that's that. Next up, I run 4 Mermaid Idol Sednas. Nice 8,000 vanilla hitter. Can't go wrong. Note the misprint. It hasn't got a critical number on it. But yeah, those are pretty cool. You can't go wrong. You'd want to run 4 of those, as a rule. And I also run 3 of these, Mermaid Idol Fallujah. She allows you to soul charge 1 when she's placed onto the field. Again, vanguard or rearguard. Very useful if you're planning on running Flores or Tyrenia, I think. They both use soul blasts in order to do a bounce back. So those help you if you want to just get that extra little bit in the soul. And end of grade 1s, we've got these 3 perfect guards. I only had 2 until I got a booster pack yesterday, so I stuck an extra 1 in. And yeah, you can't really go wrong again. You might not want to run 4 because obviously you don't really want to play these in the rear guard unless you can really help it. And if you get one extra, you might be in a situation where you have to ride it, or you might even have to just use it as a booster, which you don't really want to do. You kind of need her in hand. Okay, so on to the grade 2s. I run 3 top idle aquas. A nice little 10,000, not a lot to say. You can't generally, go too far wrong. I run 2 mermaid idle flute. She has a continuous ability. If there's 4 or more rear guards, this unit gets plus 3,000, which makes it into an 11,000 grade 2. Now I found, with my Bermuda triangles at least, I very, very rarely don't have a full field. What with being able to draw so many cards, I often have 6 units down, and I still have quite a large hand. And with your bounce backs as well, it'll let you, choose which ones you put down with this to get the most kind of optimal attack. If you have a Sedna behind there, you're hitting for 19,000. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. And I run 3 Girls Rock Rio. This is my main bounce back card. Obviously, so when she returns to your hand, you counterblast 1, soul charge 1, and draw a card. Very, very useful. Increases your soul and your hand at once. So, yeah. Possibly I might consider running 4 of those if I had another one, but I've only got 3. But, when you've got 3, generally you'll get 1 or 2 of them out in a game, if not all of them. I've also got 3 Pearl Sisters Perla. She's got the Soul Blast of 1. When this unit attacks, hits a vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose another Bermuda Triangle rear guard and return it to your hand. So you use her in combination with Rio, or one of the other cards that does the same kind of thing. And there you go, you've got yourself a bounce back. And this one, yeah, like I say, that's a Soul Blast 1. If you're doing it to Rio or Kareen, then you Soul Charge 1, you replace the card you just lost. The only problem with Soul Charging is obviously occasionally you'll find yourself getting a perfect guard or a critical trigger going in there. But that can't be helped. So those 3 are pretty good. You'll find that people tend to block this. They know what's coming if it hits. So yeah, just be careful of that. I've run 2 Linas. These are my main bounce back cards. I want another one of these, but I've only got 2 so far. She's got 2 abilities. The first one is that if you've got 4 or more rear guards, she gets plus 3,000, like Flute, which turns her into a 13,000 grade 3. And she's also got the ability, when this unit is placed on the vanguard circle, return all of your Bermuda Triangle rear guards to your hand. So very useful. If you've got, say, a couple of Rios, maybe some Fallujas, or even some Prism on the water Matoas, you can bounce those back and then put them all back down and basically use their abilities again. You can be drawing cards, soul charging, they let you go a bit mad. The only problem is you can very quickly deck yourself out if you focus on Lina. I've got one of these, the Super Idol 7. She's got a counterblast to get plus 3,000. She's a 13,000, which you can use from the rear guard. Not a lot more to say. You tend to have quite a lot of counterblasts unused if you're not doing a lot of bouncing back, so this can be quite a useful card just to be in there. I've got, I've got 3 Top Idol Flores. She's got ability, when this unit attack hits, doesn't have to be a vanguard, it can just be a hit. You may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your Bermuda Triangle rear guards and return it to your hand. So you Soul Blast 2 and return 1 to your hand. So again, it lets you get off Kareen or Rio's ability nicely. And you can use it from the rear guard. So you tend to find yourself maybe with a Lina centre and a Flores either side, or a Flores one side, and on the other side you'll probably have one of these. I've got 2 of these. Rainbow Light Kareen. She's basically a Rio, but a grade 3 with 10,000 power instead of 8,000. So Counterblast 1, when she returns to your hand, So I'll charge one and draw a card. You probably won't want to be doing that much when you've got grade 3s out on the field. You really want to do it early on with the Rios and other cards in the grade 1s and 2s. But still, if you ever need a late game pick-me-up, a few more cards, you can do a lot worse than bouncing these back. The only problem is, they'll never hit for more than 10,000 unless you've given them a trigger boost. And that's it, that's my Bermuda Triangle deck. I'd like to know what you think of my deck. Tell me if you've got any suggestions or thoughts. And do you run a Bermuda Triangle deck? Is it anything like this, or is it completely different? Post your comments below, and I look forward to reading them. Bye.